For most showgoers, the highlight of the entire space here is always the Ducati stand. And for those that come to the stand, the highlight is always the top spec Panigale. Now's a good chance to cut back to last year's show when Susie was telling me off for trying to touch up last year's Panigale. This year, Panigale is bigger, better and faster and with more cylinders. V4 now. Last night they hosted on the stand a bit of a VIP evening and we had a chance to listen to a chap called Marco Sairu, who is the project lead for the engine development package for the new V4 Panigale.
Okay, I'm the head of engine project management, so I'm involved in overviewing all the development of our engines. Obviously, this is a work which is done in a team with the R&D and the other guys of the project management, and we are working in tight connection with the guys working on the chassis and the electronics. We were thinking on how to enhance the performances of the 1299 Panigale and how to enhance also the rideability in open roads. And we were considering both the options, continue to develop the Super Quattro engine, the 1299, or look at the development that Ducati Corse has done during the years with the V4. For a long time, compared the two solutions, trying to find the best balance in terms of overall performance. So not only the engine, but how the engine acts into the vehicle and how the rider can enjoy the riding of the bike. First thing you notice when you sit on the bike is that you feel at home. I mean, if you are a 1299 customer or a passionate rider, you feel the same integration of the rider into the vehicle. As soon as you start the engine, you feel the V4 as something new, but thanks to the twin-pulse configuration, this is not that far in terms of sound of what you're used to, thanks to the twin, the Super Quattro. Then, running with the bike, starting with the bike and revving up, you feel something different. The bike, obviously, having a V4 revs really high, gets a lot of power in high revs, but we design the engine in order to have also the really high values of torque, because we think that this enables the real fun in open road riding. A big difference probably is that the 1299 Panigale is a high-performing bike, but you have to force it somehow, mostly in racetrack conditions. While the new Panigale V4, it's a lot easier to ride. Higher performances, but you can get them easily.
So there are 3 bikes in the V4 Panigale range: Standard, the S and the Speciale. This V4 masterpiece is 34,995 quid. What you get for your money is 226 horsepower at the brochure. You get slide control, you get cornering ABS, everything that you can possibly imagine and possibly want in the ultimate performance Ducati is in this bike. Every single piece of software that you could possibly imagine being able to fit within the panels of a bike that still looks as sexy as this does, and it does, is in here. It wants for absolutely nothing. But if you're going to stop and stare at a bike at this show, it's got to be this. So if your kidneys are only worth 23,895 quid, what you can get is the Panigale S. It's still full of all of the same trick bits and pieces. You get active suspension, again, riding modes, cornering, ABS, slide control. Absolutely everything that you want in a sports bike is in this package that I thought might have been a little bit wider for some reason than it actually is. It doesn't feel, physically, looking at it and sitting on it, much bigger than a normal Panigale. 214 horsepower, maybe at the brochure. Let's say at the wheel it's 205 horsepower. It's also only 174 kilos dry. So once you've added fuel and a couple of other bits of, they measure these things without brake fluid, without anything in them. You're looking at a bike that's going to be definitely sub 200 kilos and almost certainly 200 plus horsepower. In terms of that power to weight ratio, the golden figure that everybody chases, supercar makers, hypercar makers, and performance bike makers, is 1 horsepower per kilo. This bike is going to be 1 horsepower plus per kilo. It's going to be absolutely bonkers.